There. Okay, I think we're recording. Yeah, so if we don't have other people join us, it won't matter. We'll do it ourselves and share it later. But we can wait a few more minutes and see if anybody else hops on. So how's it going with new babies? Both of you. Oh, Elise, let me unmute you.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. We're doing well. Baby's 5 months old now, 5.5 months, and he's really healthy, but we've had a really, really, really difficult time with feeding. He's had some real struggles from a birth injury he had to his cranium. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was kind of random, but he's doing well now. We've had some great people to work with us, and he's super healthy. He's my easiest baby. He's awesome. He's really great. But it's been pretty all-consuming for a while. But we're doing well. We're adjusting well, and the kids adore him, and we're doing great. Sorry, I can't figure out where to look here. How's your baby, Karmen?
She's doing so good. Well, we've just gotten over a bout with the flu, so we're all a little under the weather, but she's in general doing really well. She's so chunky, so fat, and just a doll. We just love her. She took a longer time than my other ones to get really chunky. The other ones, like, they chunked up right away. She was born chunky, but then she just kind of stayed level for about 3 weeks and didn't really gain a whole lot, which was unusual for our babies. But she's making up for it now. She's over 20 pounds. My scale tapped out at 20, and I can't weigh her any past that. So
my word.
like 3.5 weeks ago. So she's a big girl. She's gonna be a little chunky thing.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, my little guy, he was almost 10 pounds at birth, and he's just maybe 15 now, but with all the feeding stuff, and he's really healthy, but he's not chunky. He's not, no one's concerned about him, but I think we just last week finally were able to get to where he can nurse normally now, so I think that's going to make a big difference.
Right. Wow, that's a long time for him to have to struggle with that.
Yeah. He basically couldn't latch. And we've been working with someone who does cranial work chiropractically to adjust work on the inside of his mouth and his head, and so we're finally there. But it's been a ride.
Oh, well, it's so sweet to see your babies and see their pictures and everything. I love that. I had one chunky and one kind of skinnier baby. So it's fun. Treated them the same, it seemed like, but they're just who they are from the very beginning.
My babies tend to not be very chunky, very big. They tend to be on the small side, but healthy.
Well, almost 10 pounds at birth, though. That's good size.
Yeah, he was big at birth, but he's just slowed down. He didn't really gain weight quickly, but he's doing great, though. He's doing really good.
Oh, that's great. Well, I see that Lisa joined us. Hi, Lisa. Glad you hopped on. That may be all we get for today, so we will go ahead and get started. And if anybody has a comment, to pop in at the bottom. So it looks like just Lisa, and that's great. Lisa, if you have any comment about, I was kind of thinking on the lines of tweaking. Sometimes we need to tweak our schedules or supplements or whatever, because I think sometimes when we read about the dosages or whatever, it's like, okay, this is what you do, this is how much you take every day. And I think a lot of times people need to hear that, oh, this person had to adjust that or take that at a different time than most people do, or add double or half or whatever. So I think we'll kind of think along that lines. So Karmen, let's go ahead with you, and you're going to be sharing with us about your experiences with Biocleanse.
Yes, so I actually don't have any of this like rehearsed or anything, so this is just going to be kind of me chatting. But I really got excited with this last pregnancy just the level of health that I felt throughout the pregnancy was such a new and just exciting, wonderful feeling. I have not had Plexus products before through a pregnancy. I had taken them after a pregnancy at one point for just a very short time. And then, life happened and I got sidetracked. I didn't stay consistent, but I started taking the Triplex a month before I found out we were pregnant. No, a month before I got pregnant. So about 2 months before I found out we were pregnant. December 1st, I started taking the Triplex. And I was consistent. I was noticing some awesome results with energy and just kind of fat loss. I was also using Metaburn, which I noticed like little pockets of fat that I, didn't matter how I worked out, I couldn't get rid of that little pocket. It just kind of stayed there. It was like my shape. Well, those things started kind of melting away, and I was like, wow, this is really awesome, and I'm feeling really good, and all my mood was just up, and I just felt great. Found out I was expecting, and it wasn't the timing that my husband or I would have chosen, just because I was really on a kick of just wanting to get my body healthy and just where I wanted to be health-wise. Wanted to focus in on that, and I knew that the pregnancy would take my focus and I would be focusing on growing a baby, so it would change where I originally kind of had my target. But I didn't mind. We were thrilled to find out we were expecting. It was our number 9. We actually have 2 babies in heaven, so it was our 9th live baby. Would have been my 11th pregnancy. One of the things that I've struggled with through my pregnancies, all 11 actually. Hi, sweetie. Oh, yes, it is, but Mama's busy right now. Can I look at it with you in a minute? Nope, not yet. Sorry, a little visitor. Mail came. Exciting mail. Amazon, those Amazon packages are so exciting. Anyways, so with my all 11 pregnancies, I experienced extreme morning sickness. And my first one, I was sick the whole pregnancy. I was sick until the day he was born. Now it did kind of level off, and it wasn't as extreme my 7th through 9th, 10th month, but still very severe, to the point where I was very dehydrated, very malnourished. I lost a ton of weight. We joke in my family that pregnancy is my best weight loss plan ever, because I just lose. And I go through a dark stage of where I get migraines, and I pretty much just hide in my room, blacked out curtains, hide under the covers for it. It feels like it kind of, there's no time when I'm experiencing that, but months of my life have gone by, and life keeps on moving, but I'm just stuck because of this morning sickness. So what was such a big difference for me with this one was I did not have that severe of morning sickness. Usually it starts on day 1 of 6 weeks gestation. So like when I'm 6 weeks pregnant, I start throwing up. It's like my clockwork. I don't even need to take a pregnancy test, because I always have that telltale day of just, well, here we go again. So that came right along as normal, but it wasn't so severe. It was more just like a light nausea. It wasn't like instantly throwing up and then declining into the dehydration and malnourishment right away. It was nasty and no fun, but it was such a milder case. And I actually talked with my husband about, well, I hope that my hormone levels are okay, and I hope this is a viable pregnancy, because I'm not feeling as bad as I normally would at this point. I did get some of those weeks where it was pretty rough, and right about 11 weeks, I was in the middle of one of those dark out phases where I had been in my room for like 5 days straight, with my head under my covers because I couldn't stand the light. My migraine was so bad, and just throwing up a lot, very dehydrated. And I was watching a video. I decided to watch a video. I was so bored in there. Decided to watch a video of Yarrow Fox that she did on like supplements during pregnancy, and she mentioned something about magnesium helping morning sickness. And I was like, I have heard that so many times, and I've tried everything, because I'd tried like a little magnesium spritz, like several different brands over the different pregnancies, but where you spritz it on your skin, you rub it in, it kind of itches. I didn't really like the feeling of it. I had tried that. I had tried regular like capsule supplementation. I had tried magnesium bath soaks. Just really a lot of forms of magnesium I had tried, and none of them had helped with my morning sickness. So I thought, well, I don't know why everybody says that's supposed to work, because it doesn't help me. But then I remembered that the Triplex that I was using, one of the products had magnesium. So I started reading the backs of my bottles, and I looked through, and it was the Biocleanse. And I thought, well, what can it hurt to just up this? I'm only taking half of the maximum dose. So I would double it. And I did. And I didn't keep the first couple of rounds of that down. So I went ahead and took it again until I kept a round of it down. And the next day, my migraine was gone, and I was still very nauseous, but my migraine was gone, and I felt like I could kind of like come out of my covers and have conversation with my kids and somewhat a little bit normal. And the really amazing thing was 48 hours after, and I doubled that dose again the next day. So 2 doses of 4 capsules. I had not a twinge of nausea that day, and it was just like weird. I mean, it was eerie and weird. And through that whole pregnancy, going all the way through, I never looked back. I never had another single day of nausea. Never threw up again. One afternoon, I got a little queasy when I didn't take my Biocleanse. I went to town, and I forgot to bring my supplements with me, and so I was out kind of all day and forgot to take it. And I started to feel just a little twinge, a little hint, and I was like, oh my goodness, wow, I'm going to take that right now. And then, I mean, it was wonderful not having to deal with that. And you know what that allowed me to do was focus on the nutritional needs that I knew that I should all along. I mean, I'm big into nutrition for the most part. I really love to feed our family as healthy as I can. And I always felt this guilt during my pregnancies about not being able to feed that new growing baby what I knew it needed because I was too sick. And this pregnancy was the first time that I was able to focus on that. And I just felt so blessed to be able to have that different experience. I'm so excited for this, for the future, and from what I've learned about magnesium. I've learned that, you can kind of onload, like front load a little bit. And so that maybe if you are planning to get pregnant and you up your Biocleanse or your magnesium supplement before you intend to get pregnant, you can actually keep it at bay for a while maybe, and maybe not have some at all. So I'm really looking forward to kind of experimenting with that, tweaking that dosage a little bit with our upcoming babies if God decides to bless us with more. And I'm hoping that it will help my sister also, because our family has a really I guess genetically we just all struggle with this really, really a lot. So that's my experience with Biocleanse.
Thanks, Karmen. Oh, I love that story so much. I'm so happy that it helped you like that. That is so great. That is such an encouraging story. If I have any young friends that are getting pregnant or already pregnant, I'm going to share that with them. So thank you so much for that. Okay, Elise, let's hear from you.
Alrighty. First, Karmen, that's amazing. I'm so excited. Next time I get pregnant, I'm going to do that. I was taking the Triplex, but that's good to know, because I did have a bunch of morning sickness. And so maybe if I'd been taking more Biocleanse, that would have made a difference. So I have, for years, since I was in my teens, I developed in my teens a sensitivity to peanuts, and not like a life-threatening level, but just to the point that I would get really, really bad headaches and usually feel really grumpy and have a lot of digestive discomfort, sometimes getting these really awful spasms that would just double me over and were just very, very painful. And so I haven't been able to eat peanut butter in years and years. Occasionally I'd have a little tiny bit here and there, and I'd always regret it. I was like, well, maybe this time I can, and it wouldn't be. So it's not something I've even thought of with Plexus, is that, it was never a goal of mine to be able to eat peanuts again or anything like that. But so I've been on the Triplex now for just about 2 years. And I just take the Triplex, and then I have started taking that old X Factor with the aloe in it, like in the past 6 months or so. I've had to be very careful with that because it causes me to detox too fast. So I kind of stayed away from that while I was pregnant. But I am taking some of that now, and just on a whim, I don't know, like last month or something like that, I had a little bit of peanut butter, and I was like, well, that's weird. Like I don't have a headache, I don't have a stomach ache, and I waited a couple days, and I continued. Usually, sometimes the stomach pain would last a few days, or the abdominal pain would last a few days, and I tried it again, and honestly, in the past month, I've been able to have like a little bit of peanut butter, like on a little bit of, peanut butter toast or whatever, like multiple times a week. And I'm not having any problems at all. So that's a big deal for me. I'm super excited because there's been like, I've wanted to do like no-bake cookies, like healthy ones with the kids and stuff like that. I never could do that type of stuff because of the peanuts. And I know I can use almond butter, but I kind of burned myself out on almond butter and it's expensive. So anyhow, that was kind of my like big amazing story because I can eat peanuts now. So I know it's I really know it's the Triplex. Nothing has really changed that severely. That's been the biggest change, is being consistent on that. And I mean, I've noticed so many other benefits from being on the Triplex. And now I feel like the X Factor, now that I'm on that too, I feel like that's definitely making a difference. But anyhow, so that was like a really cool, pleasant surprise.
Yay, that is so much fun to hear that. Yeah. You can't even expect. That is so awesome.
It was totally random.
I love that. There's a Plexus friend that I have, Karen Coda, and her kids both have really severe peanut sensitivities. And they started taking the X Factor Kids and some Probio 5, and they got over it too. And she has this little picture of them eating peanut butter. It's so great.
That is so fun. Yeah. That's really cool.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to have that hope. Peanut butter.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like frivolous, but it's like a really big deal.
Well, and it's telling you something's going on. That's good, right? Yeah. I mean, your body is learning to like deal with stuff and communicate with itself and heal itself. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of diet, a lot of probiotics, a lot of things over the years. I'm kind of obsessed with, healthy living. So to have that big of a difference, even after doing all those other things, just makes me really love Plexus even more.
That is so awesome. Well, I think, let's see, I was kind of thinking trying to think of what I might be able to share with tweaking. I know, like for me, I started the Slim and I was sleeping really good. And then I started Triplex. And all of a sudden I wasn't sleeping quite as good again. And I couldn't figure it out because I was having gut issues at night. And they were really uncomfortable before I started Slim. And then it was great. And then again, kind of going back to just being awake and my gut being really active. So what I had to do with Biocleanse is I had to start taking it in the morning because I think it was just making my gut active. And that was something that I noticed that I had to do differently than most people, because I think from what I can tell, most people take their Biocleanse with their Probio 5 at night. And sometimes again in the day, morning or afternoon. But anyways, that was something that I needed to do differently. So all our bodies are so different and just the way they work. But I think it's really important when we can share with each other and hear, we adjust, we work with them. These are good tools. We have other things that we use as well. And they're just great tools in the toolbox for helping our bodies just kick in and do what they need to do. What about you, Lisa? Did you have any suggestions for us of anything you had to change? Hi, how are you? Our favorite
He says she'll be surprised. She'll be surprised I know her name.
Oh, I'm so happy you know my name. Tell me your name again. Lewis. I knew I had seen it on your mom's post, but I forgot. Nice to meet you, Lewis.
So for me, I take products, I said, everybody looks so nice. You all look so pretty. I'm here homeschooling, so I didn't even do my hair today. Okay, so for me, I do things weird. I take my Slim in the afternoon, so between 2 and 3, when people have that crash in the afternoon, that's when I take my Slim. I have a thyroid medicine I take in the morning, and then I have to wait an hour before I can eat. And so by then, I don't want to do Slim and then wait another hour or whatever. So I'm a little odd there. And then when I do have my breakfast, I take the Vital Biome and one Metaburn and sometimes Nerve, depending on how the day's going. And then at lunch, I take, there's a little girl. I take my vitamins, and then the other MetaBurn, and a Mega X. And I have switched back and forth between 1 and 2 Mega X. And then in the afternoon, I do Slim, and then I do half of my Active. So if I do a whole Active, I can't sleep. So it's just too much caffeine for me. So I do half of that packet with my Slim, and then at night I do my ProBio 5. And for me, I take anywhere from 3 to 4 of those, just because they work great for me. They just so great. If I'm trying to fight off something, I have taken as many as 6 in a day, but I did spread those out. And but normally it's 2 to 3. And then but my Biocleanse, I take my ProBio and then I take my shower. And so I give them some time. I don't take them right together. And then right before I go to sleep, I take my Biocleanse. But I don't ever take any more than 2 Biocleanse. It gives me enough of what I need and without causing problems. So for me, that's the max. If I take 3, it's not a good situation unless I'm traveling, and then I feel like I need 3. So yeah, so I'm a little bit different than a lot of people because I don't start my day with Slim and Active. And so, okay. And then I have a guy who's 15, my oldest son, and he actually takes the Slim at night, which is so weird, right before he goes to bed. So he mixes it up in like a juice cup and takes it really strong. And it has helped get rid of his acne. He had acne that was across his head and moving down his face. And I had sister-in-laws who were saying, you need to go and get him whatever the kind that, you have to get tests and kidney tests and liver tests and all the whatever. And I thought, we're not doing that. That's just not the direction that we're going at our house. And so we tried this and it worked for him. And also in the process got rid of his seasonal allergies, which was fabulous. And yeah, so I think those are probably his biggest things. Yeah, and sometimes other boys take it. My second son takes it in the afternoons, usually either before or after basketball practice, just for clarity of mind, and then so that he's not getting the acne. So that's what we're doing with that. That's all my kids take, I think, right now. So.
All right. Great, thank you so much. Yeah, it's really interesting to hear how everybody does different things. Like I always take my Active first thing in the morning. And for me, it's not for working out. It's like, okay, brain. Hello, let's wake up. But one time I tried taking 2, like one right after the other. I'm like, I want lots of energy. And it was like, oh my word. Okay, that was too much.
How did you react to that? Were you just like super energetic, or were you like?
I felt like just a little too charged. Yeah, it was like, I don't know what the word for it would be. Similar to too much caffeine, but it was just like, it was just too much, too much goodness going into my, flowing into my veins. But yeah, 1 is perfect for me. And I could take Slim. I like to take about 1/3 of a Slim at night with a big water bottle before I go to sleep, and I sleep really great if I do that. So.
Can I say a little bit about Active? I've just started using it again. I didn't take the Active while I was pregnant. I think I did maybe a couple times. I tried it, but I only did a half because I've been very caffeine sensitive my whole life. I mean, really sensitive. And so I don't do coffee or anything like that. I think on our anniversary, sometimes my husband will take me to coffee and I'll have a real coffee and then I usually regret it. It's just one of those things. I love the taste and it just doesn't agree with me. But I've actually been using the Active a half. I just use a half for a pre-workout. And I just started doing it. And I wanted to just mention really quickly, I have a little Fitbit that I keep track of my workouts and stuff on. And so I've just barely started getting back into running again after my baby. And I did a few runs and I felt like I expected myself to feel pretty sluggish, especially at the 1 mile mark. I just feel like I want to just give up, but I know if I push through, I'll find a rhythm and I'll get into it and get going for my next couple miles. But then the first day that I tried Active before, I just noticed a really difference in I don't know how to explain it other than like my cells, they just felt open. I don't know if that's the oxygenation or what it was, but I felt like my breathing was more controlled. And I don't tend to have a lot of trouble with energy when I'm running because I feel like that gives me energy. But I just felt more open. My body just felt like it was working well, like just smoother, and I could push myself without feeling like I was in danger of passing out or something. You know, I felt like that oxygenation, I think, is what I was feeling, and it was wonderful. I love that. So I have been using the Active as a pre-workout. I don't take it every day because I don't run every day, but I have been using that, and so far I haven't noticed any adverse effects I was worried about with nursing. I was worried about my baby getting all wild and crazy, and I've not noticed that at all. So it's been great.
Awesome. So you felt energized then from it. Yeah, that nitric oxide. So it helps our bodies produce the nitric oxide. And I was thinking that there was something in it that had nitric oxide in it, but as Shoshana explained it, we can't take nitric oxide in food, but we can eat foods and things like that help our bodies to produce it. So it's all that good tart cherry and broccoli and kale and what else is it? Blueberry. Those kind of things work that way.
I have a question, if I can. Someone posted the other day there wasn't a person, but it was a huge one of those like giant coffee things, like big thing. It was filled with insulin needles, and she said, "My son is so brave because it was all of these insulin needles that he'd had to use over the past 6 weeks." And she said he has type 1 diabetes, and it was just like, you know, like the needles are enough for me. But she was just like bragging about her kid being able to do this. And it started me thinking, like, if I reach out to her about Slim, is that enough for diabetes? Is that enough that he wouldn't have to take the insulin as often, that he wouldn't have to use an entire tub of needles? It like broke my heart. Do we have something that would directly help type 1?
We have a friend that has type 1 diabetes, and they're pretty mainline medical, and that one supposedly is like genetic where it can't be cured. It's like they're born with it. But I am thinking that last year, I believe I heard Shoshana talk about one of the people that inspired her to try Plexus in the beginning was someone with type 1 diabetes, and it didn't like cure it. But if I remember right, I think she said with consistent use, he was able to dramatically reduce the amount of insulin that he needed. So that's what I've heard, and I believe it was type 1 diabetes, which she was talking about.
Okay, so would it be like just the Slim, or is it something that we need total gut health overhaul, do you think?
I think with that, it was just the Slim. She was talking about specifically the Slim because it works with blood sugar. I mean, I feel like a lot of times people with diabetes, there's multiple layers to it, but I think with type 1 diabetes specifically, I mean, that would probably do a lot right there. The other stuff would be good, but maybe not as directly impactful, I think. That's just my thought.
Also, I wonder about balance. I'm not very familiar with balance, but I've heard Shoshana recommend that, I think, in that sort of similar instances.
Okay.
I was going to say too, Lisa, that I remember Shoshana talking about 2 men that she knew that had diabetes and who were significantly helped with Slim, and I didn't remember it being type 1, but it'd be great. You might want to just reach out to her and ask her about that. But yeah, I would say it'd be worth it. Try.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they pay for insulin, but I know there's that whole like insulin's crazy high, and it would just, I mean, I know Slim is not cheap, but if you were taking insulin less often because of it and actually getting well, I think a lot of times too, when people say things are hereditary, for example, like it's supposed to be hereditary in our family that people have thyroid disorders, and I have aunts on both sides that have thyroid disorders, and so does my husband. And so we've already had 2 of my kids tested, and they have low functioning thyroids, but I'm not actually sure that it's because of hereditary as much as it is just learned behavior. Like you eat the same things that your parents ate, you do the same things that your parents did. And I think we're probably anyway, so we're actually have a special doctor that Ricky James is referred me to, and so we're gonna get that's my goal this year is to get everybody on track on with their thyroid. But anyway, but when I talked to him, he was like, yeah, we will do these blood tests, and then we have these vitamins and we'll do this and this, and Plexus is great products and just different things. And so I'm thinking, I don't know that it is actually, I don't know what about the type 1 diabetes would be hereditary, or is it, I don't know. I always just, whenever people say that's hereditary, I think, is it actually, or is it a learned thing? So.
Lisa, it's interesting. I'm just remembering now our friend that has the type 1 diabetes, that it is hereditary or genetic or something, so he says, but he wasn't, now that I remember, he wasn't born with it. He got it after, I believe, a viral infection. So it was brought on, I think it was viral, that triggered it, but it wasn't, I think type 2 diabetes is more brought on through like diet choices and stuff like that. Anyhow, that's what, but I agree. I've heard the same thing about the genetic and hereditary stuff, and I really agree. I see that in my own family as well. That type of, maybe more of like a learned thing, behavior as you see, or something passed down through the gut, but that is correctable.
I could see where it could be both. It could be something that you're passing on through your genetics or whatever, or through your body that's not where it could be health-wise. And then also what you're, like you're saying, what you're used to doing in your family and your environment and everything. It's probably a lot of different factors. Well, let's hope that they give Slim a try and just see if it might help. Good. Okay, you guys. Well, I think that we are at about 11:30, about half an hour there. But this was just a great Tuesday's testimonials. And I so enjoyed hearing your stories and can't wait to share with everybody else who missed it. So if anybody doesn't have anything else to say, anything else you want to share?
I just had one thing. I was wondering if anyone knows, question and then just my experience, why ProBio 5 is recommended to take at bedtime and not other times of the day. Is there a specific reason for that, do you know? Anyone?
I remember somewhere that maybe it works a little better when your body's at rest.
Okay. Because I've only ever taken it at night, and I was down to taking one during pregnancy, and I have a really hard time increasing it because I detox so much. I still have a lot more work to do in my body. But I recently started experimenting with a couple times a week taking a capsule in the morning when I first get up, and I'm not having that same reaction. So I don't want to waste the ProBio 5 if it's not working as effectively, but I am excited that maybe I can build up that way by breaking up the dosage. So I was more kind of curious if anyone had any thoughts on that.
Go ahead, Louise.
Sorry. What I heard is, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I had heard that it's best to use the ProBio 5 if you're wanting to bust biofilm and you really want to do the deep healing, to make sure that you eat it away from, or have it away from a meal, so that it works on it works on the healing rather than digesting your foods. The enzymes, they will either go to work first if your stomach is full on helping break down your foods, or if your stomach is empty, then they will go to work on busting biofilms and breaking down and getting kind of the root of health. Now that's what I've heard, and I've taken mine at bedtime because of that. I thought that it's far enough away from dinner that I feel like that's probably the better time for me to take it. But I'm not sure if there's more to it than that.
I was going to say the same thing, that just exactly what Karmen mentioned. And then also some people's bellies get gurgly, and so I think they're not necessarily gas, but just definitely an active gut. And I think that's not comfortable for people. And so they take it at night. And then again, as Molly mentioned, just that long-term, you have a time of rest where your body's it's trying to heal. And so I think it can be used longer during that period versus, taking it in the morning. But I think that's a good way to build it up. I mean, it's a good way you're trying to increase it, but it probably isn't 100% effective at that point, just because you're having food before it's gone.
That makes sense. Okay, well, that's good to know. Maybe I'll try to take apart a little bit at night or something like that. I want to get to where I can take a bunch more of it. So, but that's helpful. Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, I think that's it for our time today. And I just want to thank y'all for hopping on. And yeah, join us at the next one. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.